context, and it has to be holistic. And Delphina, thank you for being so inspiring. I love that you have a multidisciplinary, multinational team, and you've come up with an impactful solution. Congratulations.
Parabéns, Delphina.
We're actually just getting started here, so without further ado, let's move on to the next participant. Does that sound? Come on stage. She'll be presenting her team's let's clap first. So Katie will be presenting her team's proposal on the utilization of maize crop residue in the production of organic manure in Kenya. I've been waiting for this presentation for a while. Katie, karibu sana.
Good luck with that, Katie.
Let's imagine a world where soils are naturally replenished to produce food. Please join me as I talk about how we can leverage maize residue for the production of organic manure in Kenya. Our policy proposal is based on the following background. Obonyo Moguche, who happens to be my grandmother, took care of her children and grandchildren, including myself, from maize proceeds. After harvesting the maize crop, we would gather stalks and cobs for cooking, and the remaining residue will be burned on farms to clear the land for cultivation. My grandmother represents 75% of small-scale maize farmers in Kenya, and they are therefore affected the most by climate change. Maize being the main staple food in Kenya, it's cultivated on 48.5% of Kenya's arable land. And that is undertaken mainly by the use of inorganic fertilizers, which account for 99%. The use of inorganic fertilizers poses 4 main challenges. First, because we rely on importation of fertilizers, their supply is irregular, which in the long run affects agricultural activities. Secondly, the market is infiltrated with counterfeit fertilizers. The counterfeit fertilizers affect the quality of the maize yields, and they also deteriorate our soils. Thirdly, the fertilizers are too expensive, especially for small-scale farmers, with a 50-kilogram bag costing about $55. And lastly, they acidify the soil, and in the long run, make the soils infertile. Our policy proposal is based on 4 main factors. First, about 10.3 million tons of maize residue is produced annually in Kenya. Unfortunately, the maize residue is misused by either cooking or burning on farms, which contributes to carbon emissions, which is detrimental to our environment. Thirdly, the current policy and regulatory framework in Kenya is insufficient, as it does not address organic agriculture in general and organic manure, because industrialized farming is more catered for in our framework at the expense of organic agriculture. And lastly, organic manure is beneficial because it not only adds nutrients to the soil, it also adds organic components to the soil, creates a good environment for the thriving of microorganisms, and it also enables the plants to take in the nutrients. We intend to implement our policy proposal in 3 main phases. From January to June 2025, we are going to consult farmers and extensionists to get the actual and accurate information that concerns what they experience by the use of inorganic fertilizers. Our next phase, from July to December 2025, we are going to do capacity building initiatives whereby the farmers acquire the relevant knowledge and skills that will enable them implement our policy proposal. We are also going to collaborate with the relevant stakeholders and such as FAO and other experts, including even academic institutions, to enable the capacity building initiatives to be effective. And lastly, in 2026, we're intending to implement pilot projects in different parts of the country, because different parts of the country have different soil components which require different nutritional components to enable maize farming to thrive. So we'll have to enroll pilot projects in different parts of the country, which will be monitored and evaluated by experts. Our policy proposal has 3 main impacts. The first one, we are going to improve soil health. As we improve soil health, we are going to, improving soil health will enable farmers get high yields. Currently, harvest about 1.8 tons per hectare of maize. And that we can increase that to 6 tons per hectare. And ultimately, when we increase the amount of maize that is harvested every year, we are going to enhance SDG number 2, where we'll have zero hunger by promoting food security. And ultimately, by contributing to cluster 1 of food crops under the minimum dietary diversity, then we are going to improve the availability of grains in our country. As we advocate for good food for today and tomorrow, let's help my grandmother and other small-scale farmers in Kenya sustainably and affordably feed their families by incorporating the use of organic manure on their lands. On behalf of my team, comprising Dr. Nathan Mugenya from Uganda, Brenda Musenya from Kenya, and myself, KD Moguche from Kenya, asanteni sana. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Katie. It's very interesting to see how you brought here with us all of this information. We can all see how much of an in-depth research you've done. And to react on that, I'd like to invite Ms. Neufeld.
Fabulous. Great job, Katie.
Thank you. That was great. And I'm quite torn because I feel like I could benefit from my colleague Li Feng's expertise on this proposal. So I'm going to take just a moment to talk about my concern, and then I'm going to risk delving into the area of the expertise of someone else. Okay. Dietary diversity is one of the pillars of a healthy diet. Healthy diets are adequate in nutrients, they're diverse in the foods that we consume, they're balanced in our energy sources, and they're moderate in the consumption of unhealthy foods. So you highlighted diversity. But the one food that is commonly consumed across populations, almost universally, is the staple grain. So when countries that have that information, that box is the box that's almost always ticked. So this proposal, and don't get me wrong, because I'm going to talk about all the great stuff about it, isn't going to change dietary diversity. It might influence dietary diversity by a different route, by enhancing livelihoods, but there we need to be careful because sometimes increased income actually takes us down a route of unhealthier diets because people buy the unhealthy foods that are so terribly readily available in the market right now. So again, I would really encourage you to link up with other efforts moving forward, if this one moves forward, to make sure that that narrative around how this can contribute within the context of a healthy diet can take you in that direction. But that doesn't mean that this isn't a great proposal. And here I'm going to delve into the area of the soil world, which I know nothing about, so I'm going to say all kinds of things. We have to start thinking about how to use our crops more efficiently and effectively to avoid the waste. Actually, I think maybe both of you could speak to this because we're looking at waste and how we can create a bit of a circular in the use of that waste for better production. So from my perspective, and I'm going to get a nod, that part of the proposal is great. It's really important. It's critical to happen. And the way you laid out that component of bringing the people on board with you and working with them and dialoguing with them, community ownership of that kind of action is fundamental. If you don't have the community on board to say, yes, we want this, we want to do this, we see the benefit in it, it doesn't go forward. So I'm going to stop there before I say anything that I shouldn't say. But I really appreciated it. I really liked the layout. You did a fantastic job. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Asante sana, Katie.
Thank you so much, Katie.
Great presence. It was presidential.
It is definitely not easy to stand right here and share with the whole world all of the months that you've been doing in research and getting your projects together. So congratulations to all of the teams that have been jumping in on here.
Absolutely.
And thank you very much, Ms. Neufeld. Another round of applause to them. For all the invaluable insights that we're getting here today. And this means that we are on the third and last presentation on the theme of healthy diets and for people and planet. But do not worry, this is not the end. We still have some more to come.
Right.
So now let's go to the last of today on this theme. This proposal is titled Nudging Towards Healthy and Sustainable Diets. And I welcome Maria here on stage to present her theme.
Welcome, Maria.
Welcome, Maria.
Woo! Oh, Maria has a fan club.
She does.
Good morning. My name is Maria, and I'm very excited to present a proposal, Nudging to Healthy and Sustainable Diets. I represent the future food makers who are here with me supporting, and we're an association from Europe that we have the goal to transform our food system. But today, I would like to introduce you to Bob, our user persona. Bob is an average university student with goals, challenges, and a lot to study. He usually eats in the college cafeteria, and even though he has a vague idea that his diet can affect his health and the well-being of the environment, he doesn't pay much attention to it. He's too busy worrying about life and other challenges. But if it was easy and accessible, he would be willing to change his habits. So, to help Bob, we have developed a choice architecture food menu intervention using nudge theory and true cost accounting principles to help Bob change his food habits. So our journey begins in university canteens as our pilot sites. On the one hand, we will implement vibrant labels to showcase the sustainability level of each meal option. And on the other hand, we will implement true cost accounting to, so that prices might vary in order to showcase the real cost, societal cost of food. This will help guide the choices, but autonomy would be protected. And here's how changing the aesthetic of a menu can clearly showcase the sustainability level of each meal option. But this is not just about changing menus. We want to change the food landscape as we know it to make healthy, sustainable choices the easy, preferred option for all. But changing habits is not easy. So we developed a series of steps to make sure that our action is effective. So firstly, we will do a national level assessment using these key indicators and some crucial factors to, yes. And then we will gather key stakeholders to collaborate in the fine-tuning of the policy formulation through co-creation workshops, regular meetings, consultation sessions, in order to be successful. Next, we will implement a pilot in university canteens with tailored intervention, taking into account multiculturality and seasonality. The plan will run through the academic year, and we will collect term-by-term data like student surveys and sales. Lastly, we will advocate to scale up our proposal into a policy on different levels. Throughout this whole process, we'll have an expert committee to oversee the effectiveness of our plan. We also developed a timeline of the whole project so that every member of our team is on the same page. And of course, our framework is aligned with the 2030 agenda, and particularly with these SDGs. For the evaluation, we will gather participants' feedback, and by analyzing the pre- and post-implementation responses, we will be able to determine whether our plan was effective and the participants came out more informed and more empowered, and if they actually changed their food habits. For the outcomes, we believe that this project will deepen the target audience understanding of our food system and its impact in our health and the well-being of the environment. Thank you so much for your attention and for this opportunity, and I want to congratulate the other teams as well, because I think everyone did a great job.
Woo. Thank you so much, Maria. I can tell you want to help me with that, Joao. So much thought went into that presentation. I'm also officially hungry after seeing that menu, so thanks for that. Now, Ms. Neufeld, can you give us your feedback for the team?
Sure.
Thank you.
I was told that I was hiding from the camera over there, which is my usual way. I don't like being on the camera, so maybe that was subconsciously purposeful. Okay, so where to start? So I want to start with something that I should have said in the other two as well. I really like how all three of these proposals have been very grounded in your context. You're not proposing something that's irrelevant in the context you're working. All three of them have been very well grounded in the realities of the specific place where they're being proposed, which is fantastic. So I also really like the environment side of this. I think that was super well demonstrated. I'm a little bit concerned about the nutrition side again, and I have to speak about nutrition, being the director of nutrition. So our nutrition, the true cost accounting gives you a great deal of information, and I think it's a bit complex to go into here. But it doesn't tell me about me, right? In my healthy diet and what might be a healthier choice for me. So I think you've done a really good job of nudging in the direction of what my contribution to a more sustainable diet could be. But I don't see the nudge that could help me go in the direction of a healthier diet for me. And I think there we have to look at that, again, go back to those four principles, right? Because processing of food is important. And when I see a processed chicken burger, I get a little bit worried, because that, depending on what's in there, it might be really high in salt, it might be really high in saturated fats and other things, right? So that doesn't mean that it isn't okay to eat one of those once in a while, right? Because it's moderation, not abstinence, which is that fourth pillar of a healthy diet. But we need to make sure that we're giving that information. So if yours is the one to go forward, I think you've done a really good job on the environment. And I think you've really informed your consumer on the environment. But I think it's lacking on the informing the consumer around the nutrition side. And again, either linking that with others or building that out a little bit further so that you could help that individual say, okay, well, what difference does this make to me? And remembering that no one single food is going to make or break the quality of your diet. It's what you eat over the course of the day and over a course of time. So trying to find a way to build that in to say, well, reflect, how many times this week have you had that versus a healthier choice, right? Something like a processed burger versus a healthier choice. Anyway, just to bring in that thinking again and to really make sure that either it focuses just on environment, or if it's going to focus on diet, it builds that out a bit further. But the environment part I thought was great. And again, you've also talked about bringing the community with you and working with them, which I think all three proposals, again, have done a lot of that, which is really fantastic. No, thanks very much.
Thanks so much, Ms. Neufeld, especially for that reminder about moderation, not abstinence, because I'm definitely going to have a chicken burger today, and I haven't had one all week, okay? All right. Great job, Maria. Excellent. And congrats to your team as well.
Another round of applause for Maria and the team.
All right. If you are excited to see our next presentations, I want to hear you say yay. Are you excited? Yay. Well, that was not very convincing. Are you excited? Yay. Yeah, that was good. Best friends now. You excited, Charles?
I personally can talk about myself. I'm very excited. And now we're shifting towards the next PDC team, which is Sustainable Water Management for Agri-Food Systems Transformation. And without further ado, because we're really excited to see what's next, Rachel, I'd like to invite on stage Nije. Welcome on stage.
Her proposal is on promoting Nexus approaches for sustainable water oasis management through best practices capitalization in Tunisia. Najee, come forward. Welcome.
Good luck.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. We are happy to present our policy deliberation about promoting Nexus approach for sustainable water oasis management in Tunisia. So in Tunisia, and especially in Kibili, there are more than 3 million data palms, and also there are more than 300 variety, which we find 200 in Kibili. So this most high potential of agriculture activity, which we find then most than 13,000 farmers in Kibili, and most of 14,000 hectares, which we find 10,000 hectares are public irrigated and 13,000 hectares are private extension. So this is extension caused the local groundwater now exploited at over 115%. So the problem is unsustainable groundwater depletion extracted by intensive agricultural practice, especially in the data pale. And this is a problem affecting a wide range of stakeholders, like the farmer, and which we find most of them are women. So our objective or our solution as a youth-led climate initiative in Tunisia, me and my colleague Tahani, to implement a nexus approach for oasis food system, integrate water, energy, and food security. First, we will enhance water management oasis, then establish a robust think tank, and also improve agriculture best practice. So, we can see this planning. Our output indicator is public-private partnership and also stakeholder database and water oasis management guide, which we find may be especially for the data production. Our timeline, first 2025, will establish of think tank, then capacity building toward the local cooperative, and also development of oasis water management guide related to the National Democratic Institute in Tunisia, then the monitoring and scalability of this project. So maybe we can have resistance of change, but we can do that with our colleague and stakeholder. So there are most of stakeholders from private, public, and NGO stakeholder. We will create private-public partnership, and you can see our partner from the south and from the national and international stakeholder. Me and Tahani as youth-led climate initiative and Oasis podcaster. She lead Oasis founder and regional advisor agriculture. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Najed, for this beautiful presentation. It was really, really enlightening for me. I've never been to Tunisia, so I learned quite a bit from this. Mr. Lee, would you be so kind as to give us a few of your thoughts on her presentation? Let me borrow this a second. Oh,
thank you.
He has his own mic. It's great.
Thank you. I think this is a very good example. Try to addressing the common issue not only in Tunisia but also in many other countries.
Yes.
Especially in the very dry areas, how to use the most precious water resources to feed, to meet all the different purposes for drinking, for agriculture, but also for other purposes. So I think in your presentation, I realize you already try to use the integrated water resource management approach, try to see how the water could be managed better in your cases presented. I also like the sort of three-pillar approach, and also set up the think tank, and also use the think tank to further to promote the practice and also build the capacity and engage with the communities. I think for us, it is crucial that we really engage the stakeholders in developing and also hopefully implementing those solutions. I really like that approach. Many years ago, I formed a think tank as well in China. I think, but learn from that, my wondering is how can you use the think tank, not only to build the capacity, develop the knowledge, practice, but also use the think tank to really to influence a number of the policies, either at the local level or state level, use their voice to really to make some policy change that can enable all your practice, all your solutions developed will be further scaled up in the future. Thank you very much. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Najed. I love the think tank idea as well. Before we move on, I just wanted to check in quickly here with your audience. How are you all feeling? Everybody okay? How are you feeling? All good. How are you feeling? Good. Anyone not good? Just checking. Let me know.
Up here, you look happy.
Right.
That's
Everyone looks happy. All right. I was going to ask you what you've learned so far, but I can see you've learned pretty much everything they have to teach, which is good. And for everyone online watching us from all over the world, I am sure you're getting a feeling of the great energy we have here today.
Yeah, I feel very excited personally,
Good.
and it's very good to see the excitement in your faces here from up here.
Yes.
So now let's get back to the presentations, and the next proposal is on utilizing data for sustainable crop selection.
Ooh.
Miriam, are you here with us?
Miriam!
Welcome on stage.
Woo!
Jambo. We all need food, right? We are all eaters, and we need good food for today and for tomorrow. But with the increasing population, where we expect that by 2050, we'll be having a population of 9 billion people, which calls for 60% more food to feed them. And this will need more water to use to produce that food. And currently, agriculture consumes 70% of freshwater withdrawals. And with the increasing climate change issues, it undermines water availability. And that calls for an urgent, sustainable solution for water management in agriculture. And that's where we are proposing utilizing data for crop selection. More particularly, we bring the crop suitability platform. This is a database tool that will enable farmers select crops based on water availability. It will offer comprehensive crop suitability maps based on climate and soil data, and also provide market-driven recommendation to align farmers with profitable opportunities. And it will evaluate the water availability, economic viability, and crop yields. Of course, to implement this, we will need to collaborate with the governments and agricultural ministries to get this data based on soils and climate conditions, so that we can integrate it in the tool, and also integrating the CSP in the existing farmer support groups. And also we'll need to collaborate with other stakeholders to ensure that the CSP is well scaled to the grassroots, because the primary users intended are the local farmers, smallholder farmers. They're the ones who are supposed to make the decisions. And therefore, to ensure that this platform reaches them, we need to use the local, the community-based organizations, farmer agricultural cooperatives, and agricultural demonstration plots at the local level to disseminate this. Of course, at the end of it, what we intend to achieve is that we will have water productivity, increased water productivity, improved yield under water constraints, and strengthened agri-food system generally, and a boost in profitability of the farm produce. Even though we anticipate to have challenges like data security, but we know that through comprehensive data security protocols, it will solve the challenges, and also having strong partnerships with stakeholders and governments, and engaging the local community leaders who are the gatekeepers to ensure that they adopt the system or the platform. It will help solve all the problems. What we know is that implementing the CSP, it's more than just an innovation, because it's a solution to the providing security, food security for the future, and also water conservation for the future. Thank you.
Wow. Amazing, Miriam. Thank you so much for having the courage of stepping in right here and sharing with us your ideas. And as a reaction to that, I would like to kindly invite you, Mr. Lee, to give us your feedback.
Thank you so much, Miriam. You really targeted one of the most challenging issues in front of us. So within the warming climate, what would be the future, the right crop that we should choose? I think that's a big challenge. And indeed, I feel we already started a number of the projects, try to look at, we call it aqua crop, basically try to figure out for any given crop, what kinds of, how much water is needed at the different, seasons. And I think your idea to set up this crop suitability platform that's driven or supported by the data on water, but also on soils, it's really a great idea. And I think that's a very innovative idea. I think also you talked about the implementations, how that could be used by the farmers, how that can also provide the information on the market, but also how that can also help the soil and also land and water managers to use this information. I think this is a really great idea. What I would like to encourage you to do, also think about, how to use some of the government agencies and link up this initiative with some of the potential policy asks, and what the decision makers, how this tool can help the decision makers to achieve the policy outcomes that's of their interest. A good, very good proposal, and thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Lee, and thank you very much for your participation, Miriam. I'm sure that even all of you watching here today can take very good insights out of these feedbacks that we're receiving here.
Definitely. Asante sana, Miriam. That was brilliant. Whew. What's next, Joao?
Yeah, so now we're going to go into the next team, the last presentation on the team of Sustainable Water Management for Agri-Food Systems Transformation. And the team is on virtual water trade, being presented by Olabizi. So Olabizi, are you here with us?
Ola's joining us online.
He's joining us online. I hope you can see him on my screen.
I see her somewhere.
Oh, yes.
I feel her.
I feel her, yes.
Well, let me see. Go ahead when you're ready.
Okay, thank you so much. Good morning, everyone. My name is Olabisi Onilarikomi from Nigeria. So on behalf of my team, I am here to present to you policy recommendation for enhancing virtual water trade in Africa. Next slide, please. Sorry, I can't see my slide. So virtual water trade is the hidden flow of water in food and other commodities that are traded from one place to another. So imagine waking up to a world where every drop of water counts, but none are available. So what will we do? The African fishing industry accounts for about $24 billion per year, which is accounting to about 1.3% of the continent's GDP has dwindled so far. This has left African population consume processed food, which are threats to our health. Next slide, please. More than 90% of African population face water insecurity today. Next slide, please. This is why my team and I brought to you our policy recommendation platform that would enable the transfer of water-intensive goods instead of water itself. The key features to this solution is to improve policy support, capacity building integration, and to encourage local entrepreneurs in precision irrigation farming system. As a result of this, water usage would be reduced by 30%. Next slide, please. Our objective is to develop a comprehensive policy framework to enhance water use efficiency across sectors and to develop and upgrade water infrastructure. Next slide, please. Our policy recommendation mission is to implement a comprehensive multi-sectoral approach by addressing water scarcity, to promote high-yield low crops, to invest in irrigation infrastructure, and to initiate pilot projects. Next slide, please. One of the strategic actions we made use of was to look for some selected African countries as a case study. For example, Nigeria. which has about 30% in river water flow, and Uganda as well also has about 20% decrease in Lake Victoria water level. Next slide, please. Continuing on the strategic action, we worked on to implement integration and technological innovation, such as to encourage renewable energy for water management. Next slide, please. The key drivers to capacity building include So our market analysis focused on the total addressable markets, serviceable obtainable markets, and serviceable addressable markets with about 15 countries with severe water scarcity. And the initial focus was on 3 to 5 countries, which accounts for about 300 million. Next slide, please. So our
I think we're having a few technical difficulties. Olabisi, let us know when you're back on. We're on.
Yeah, I'm back. Yeah.
Okay, great. We're seeing the competitive advantage slide.
So on the competitive advantage, our competitive advantage was to build strong partnerships, customize solutions, and trade markets. Next slide. So these are my team. We did this policy recommendation together in person of Imofe Oluwakemi Olugbenga from Nigeria and also Moses Baluku from Uganda. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to present on behalf of us.
I love that. On behalf of us, Olabisi, stay on because we're going to have a few comments for you. That was a great concept. Thank you for teaching us so much. Niger in the building. Mr. Lee, what feedback do you have for them?
Thank you. Thank you. That's a very nice concept. For those who don't know exactly roti water, it's a simple concept. For example, to produce a normal apple, it's probably take about averagely 70 liters water to produce it. Oh, that's a similar amount of water, or similar amount of water that need to produce an egg. If you look at the global trade, then behind the commodities, whether it's food, whether it's other agriculture or industry product, behind those commodities, certainly it's amount of water being traded. I think that's the concept we're talking about, the roti water trade. It's a very nice concept, and I was very lucky I involved in this development of this concept and the methodology back to 2008. I think you present a very good idea, but then also lots of policy changes, practice, you want to look at the water allocation, basin plans, engage with the stakeholders, and also you also want to look at the infrastructures, irrigation, investment, et cetera, But the question I have in my mind is, have all of those solutions link back to the idea of roti water trade? You mentioned very briefly at the beginning, but I think I need a little bit more information to say, okay, build upon this roti water trade idea. That is the practical solutions, or that is the practical policy questions that we need to discuss. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Mr. Lee. Had no idea so much water was needed for a single apple. Olabisi, thank you so much for joining us online. I know it's difficult to not be here in person, but you handled it like a boss, and we love that.
Thank you so much.
We're going to officially move into our third and final, I know you guys are sad about that, our final theme of today, which is addressing food waste, a win-win opportunity for climate and agri-food systems. How are you feeling about the final theme, Joao?
Well, this has been a very difficult session, I believe, for all of the judges with all of these incredible ideas. I know your work will not be easy to judge on them, but now I'm sure the next presentations are going to be just as exciting and as informative as these ones have been.
Absolutely.
They are definitely making a difficult job for the judges, but a very exciting experience for all of the participants. Do you all agree with me on that?
Yes.
Give me a yes, strong yes.
Yes. That's for sure. Miss Newfield, Mr. Lee, Mr. Njai have a super tough job here. I'm not jealous of you at all. I see you with your devices trying to figure out who's going to win. But up next, we're going to make the job even more difficult. So let's welcome Shukuru, who is with us online as well, and will present on recycling organic waste through black soldier fly rearing for a sustainable food system. Shukuru, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you.
Fabulous. Take the stage virtually.
Yeah. Thank you very much for this opportunity given to me. So our theme is based on addressing food waste, win-win opportunity for climate and agri-food system. Next slide. With a focus based on addressing food waste through black soldier fly rearing for a agri-food system, sustainable agri-food system. So do you know that the world population will reach 9 billion people by 2050, while animal consumption are expected to increase by 60 to 70%. And now feed production is the most challenging due to the competition and the scarcity of local resources. And the feed cost is about, the animal production is consuming 70% of feed cost. Next slide. The challenge is that a third of the global food produced for human consumption is wasted or lost yearly. And in sub-Saharan Africa, the post-harvest losses in cereal are ranged around estimated about 20 to 30%. And from 2016 to 2019, waste production increased by 28% in Kenya and 48% in Tanzania, while in Bukavu, DR Congo, 898 tons of waste are generated daily, with 70% of it being organic waste. So what if we produce feed and fertilizer out of the waste? Next, our solution is based on recycling organic waste by feeding them into an insect known as black soldier fly, high quality protein feed and organic fertilizer as a byproduct through a sustainable waste management technology that convert waste into valuable resources to reduce greenhouse gas emission and pollution while improving soil health and reducing reliance on chemical fertilizer. Next slide. Our goals are to convert food waste into animal feed and organic fertilizer from black soldier fly, to establish a larger black soldier fly production that creates job opportunity to 600 people in East Africa by 2016, to indirectly create job opportunity to 4,500 farmers and 3,000 vegetable growers by 2013. Next. From our objectives, we have our goal, that is to reduce food waste by recycling 750 tons of organic waste in DR Congo, Tanzania, and Kenya, to produce 180 tons of feed and 180 tons of organic fertilizer by 2026, to reduce farming costs by 20% and increase livestock yield by 25%. Next, from our timeline, from 2024 to 2025, we'll be doing our first phase, that is project planning and preparation. In 2025, we'll be doing our phase 2, that is
Shukura is still here with us. If not,
development.
I believe we are facing some technical problems, Shukuro.
Sorry?
We are facing some technical problems. Can you just wrap up on your conclusion, please?
In conclusion, this project Through this project, we will make animal feeds and fertilizer out of the waste and a cheap and sustainable raw material to ensure food self-sufficiency and reduce greenhouse gas emission while creating job opportunity and improving smallholder farmer livelihood. Next slide. Our team is made by an agronomist from the Democratic Republic of Congo, a greenhouse gas emission researcher from Kenya, a climate activist from Tanzania, and climate advocate from Tanzania. Next. We are ready to turn trash into opportunity. Thank you.
Woo.
Thank you so much, Chukuru. We all know that it's not an easy job to do this online, so thank you very much. And now I'd like to pass the floor to Mr. Najiv to give his feedback to you. So please stay with us for a bit longer.
Okay, thank you very much. It is a pleasure to be here. This is my first time to be on stage, and I just wanted to confirm my excitement to be with you here. The youth, you hold the promise for the future, and it is very, very evident from the presentations that have been made here. Now on this, the first presentation, I think we have to congratulate the team for thinking about this very, very innovative idea of turning waste into something that is valuable and thereby providing opportunities for employment, but importantly as well, taking care of the environmental dimensions of the waste. Now, maybe some suggestions in refining this and moving forward. Starting with the data, you invoked the famous 1/3 number. I just want to caution that we have more recent numbers on the waste side as well as the losses side. FAO is covering the losses, and the UN Environmental Program is covering the wastes. And at this point, we are at about 13.2% for losses, our latest data, and the UNEP's data shows 19%. So be very cautious, and it is important not to combine those two numbers and say that there is a total of 31, because the basis for which those numbers are calculated are different. One is based on the production totals, and then the other is based on how much actually reaches the consumption stage. So it's very, very important. I emphasize this fact because without data, we don't really have the evidence to move on to the interventions and the policies. So this is why it's very, very important, and I really congratulate that team for bringing out these particular aspects. They are touching on this circular approach, which is very much encouraged by FAO and partners. And as I said before, and the team has actually also highlighted, there are benefits, socio-economic as well as environmental benefits. One thing that moving forward you probably should reinforce is the policy dimension here. I saw there were interventions on the infrastructures and so on, but how does it all tie together? And what are the policy instruments that will be put in place to make things actually happen? But congratulations for a very good job. Thank you.
Congratulations to crew. I love the concept of turning trash into opportunity, and I saw him taking feverish notes while Mr. Njaya was speaking, so thank you for that as well. Up next, we will be watching a very interesting presentation on Beyond the Date, from discard to action. Chanel, please come on up. Ooh, excellent recovery.
Good luck, Chanel.
That was good.
Bonjour, good morning. All right, take a look at this package. Does it look appetizing? Does it look safe? Seems fine, right? Oh, but look at the date in the corner. Eesh, we're a little bit past. Better safe than sorry, right? That's what my mom would always say. See, my mom's a nurse, and she's a little phobic about food poisoning, which means she's very cautious around perishable foods like meat. So a package like this with best before or maybe sell by in the corner might get thrown in the trash. But throwing away a package of meat isn't just throwing away meat. It's throwing away thousands of liters of water, pounds of grain, not to mention 90 times the greenhouse gas emissions of a similar amount of plant-based proteins. In other words, not all food waste is created equal in terms of climate. And if we're going to be climate smart about our food waste problem, then we need to address meat waste. So, going back to my mom, she is far from the only person to throw away a package of meat because of its label. In fact, in the United States, where there are almost no food labeling laws, 20% of meat waste at the consumer level may be directly related to labeling confusion, and that figure is similar in places like Canada. Thankfully, there's a policy to deal with this. Use best before for non-perishable foods like snacks, and use by for perishable foods like meat to indicate the last date on which that food is safe to consume according to the manufacturer. In the United States, the Food Date Labeling Act is currently making its way through Congress, and if it passed, it would implement that kind of system over there, which would be great. But just because this policy would reduce some unnecessary confusion does not necessarily mean it'll prompt waste-conscious behavior. Someone like my mom is still gonna throw away the package once it reaches its date. We need to go from discard to action. Okay, what are we actually proposing? We wanna take the current policy initiative to standardize use-by labels a step further so that it addresses consumer behavior around meat specifically. We would focus on the United States, and the policy would have two phases. In the pilot phase, the US Department of Agriculture would fund research to design and test the efficacy of specific meat labels. These labels could be something as simple as adding freeze-by and including thawing instructions, or it could be a more technical solution like a color-changing label that serves as a visual reminder to get cooking. Researchers would collaborate with the North American Meat Institute, which is the lobbying group for the meat industry, both to design and to roll out these labels. Then, researchers would evaluate consumer behavior to see which label has the greatest impact on both meat waste, but without compromising safety. Once we know which label is best, we move on to implementation. There are two possible paths for this label to become a reality. First, the formulation of the meat-specific label could be directly integrated into existing draft bills of food labeling laws at the state and federal level. That way, once those laws are passed, it would immediately go into effect. Alternatively, a clause could be inserted into the Food Date Labeling Act that I mentioned previously that explicitly empowers federal agencies to research and regulate food labels broadly. Now, this approach would be very politically challenging, but it would have the additional benefit of enabling these agencies to repeat this kind of iterative labeling research and redevelopment with not just meat, but other categories of environmentally costly food like dairy. Obviously, this policy's scope is quite limited, but it doesn't have to be broad to be effective. After all, it's really just a handful of countries like the United States, that are driving both meat consumption and consumer meat waste. Addressing this niche of consumer meat waste would mean reducing meat demand and ultimately meat's impact on our climate and communities around the world. As I said earlier, not all food waste is created equal in terms of climate, and we need tailored approaches to move the needle both on food waste and on climate systems. This policy is just that, a tailored approach and a win-win for climate and agri-food systems. Thank you.
Whoa, Chanel, that was great. Your mom must be so proud.
She doesn't know she's in. Oh, she doesn't know she's in this presentation.
Oh, it's gonna be a great surprise. Mr. Njai, what did you think about Chanel's presentation and concept?
Oh, no, I want to congratulate the team for choosing such an important topic and for doing justice, looking at very, very important dimensions of the issue. As you highlighted in your preamble and your introduction, misunderstanding of these date labels is definitely an issue that drives food waste. And definitely, if we want to make a dent on the waste problem, the consumer understanding of these date labels is a fundamental issue. I really liked the fact that you were context specific. For this, the interventions to make sense, you've got to select your context, understand it well. You chose the US and that environment, and I think that makes a lot of sense for effectiveness. Now, what I would suggest in terms of recommendations in the write-up, and that didn't really come in your presentation, you invoked certain involvement of organizations like the FAO. And it doesn't really come out clearly whether you've made those links to FAO, and I was just wondering whether that connection might end up being the Achilles heel of your proposal. But definitely it's a very, very robust proposal, and I want to congratulate you again.
Thank you so much for your feedback.
Thank you so much. And thank you once again, Mr. Nijai. We are approaching the end of the session.
Dum, dum, dum.
Can you tell us how you're feeling today? One more time. How is it going? Just give me some words in the audience.
Woo! I heard woo.
I heard some woo.
Feeling woo.
I'm taking that positively.
We'll take it.
Yeah, we know that this certainly has been a very immersive and enriching experience for all of you and also for us here on stage.
Yes.
To hear these incredible ideas from young people from all over the world, changing the world through policy.
We can definitely see all the hard work and the passion and the dedication that the teams have put into their presentations. And it's what Ms. Neufeld said before, by empowering youth through education, we get to see new visions and ideas come to life. And speaking of ideas come to life, I just want to shout out the World Food Forum team for bringing this entire week to life. Can we give them a round of applause, please? They've been working so hard for the past few months and all their lives to ensure that we have a great time and that there is impact at the end of the week.
Thank you for that, Rachel. That is definitely true. And today is another celebration of the importance of youth empowerment, which we will get to see throughout many other sessions this week. But for now, we have to finish up this one. So last but definitely not least, I would like to welcome on stage Ana Carla, who will be presenting the proposal entitled Collecting Data for Circular Economy, Addressing Food Waste in Brazilian Public Schools. Ana Carla, the floor is yours.
Woo!
Boa sorte, Ana Carla.
Yeah, I was waiting for the Portuguese. I was waiting for it.
Hi, everyone. So it's just use this, right? Okay, perfect. So, imagine a world where every child not only has access to a nutritious meal at school, but also becomes an agent in the fight against food waste. A world where schools are the epicenter of a sustainable revolution. Unfortunately, this world is not yet a reality. In Brazil, 30% of the 6-year-old children are from low-income families, and at least half of them face some level of food insecurity. Meanwhile, it's estimated that 1/3 of the food that Brazil produces each year is wasted. In schools, the real number is unknown because there's no official data, but it's about 26%. So, how can we change this reality without understanding what needs to change? So sustainable development teaches us to meet current needs without compromising future generations. And who owns the future better than our children? And where they are. Schools are a universal institution and trusted places, especially for low-income families. So if you want to fight against food waste, it's there where we must start. Hi, I'm Ana, and I will present you to Circular School, a platform that collects real-time data on food waste. But first, let's give a face to this project. Think of Maria and Regina, two real and dedicated school cooks who are struggling with the limited resources. With Circular School, they will insert food waste data, and based on circular economy principles, they will receive training, learn about new recipes and better ways to utilize food, improvement of the portioning and preparation methods, and sees the positive impact of their efforts in the students' plates. At the same time, this data goes to the government that are able to create evidence-based policies. So Circular School is an intelligent system that generates data to turn numbers into actions and policies opportunities. Using automation, we identify bottlenecks, offers personalized support, and adjust the supply chain to prioritize local and organic producers. At the same time, we construct a comprehensive database to the government and an open data page to the civil society to encourage new initiatives. So data is the key. It generates knowledge, and knowledge empowers change. Well, our project will start with a pilot. We'll select 5 schools across Brazil and implement the methodology with a methodology tailored to the school environment. And we aim to create a very solid public support to be able to scale it, because so we are going to work with stakeholders since from day one and conduct the school visits, mentoring, and trainings to instruct the school environment to apply this idea and use this methodology to really reduce waste food. So in the end, everyone wins. We'll be able to, the environment benefits from reduced waste, the governments can create data-based waste reduction policies, and the children have better meals and learn about sustainability and food sovereignty, values that they will care for life. And the impact goes beyond the school, because children can influence their families and the whole community, creating a cascading effect of sustainability. And this is us, and we invite you to join on this journey. Let's transform waste into opportunity, data into action, and children into leaders of a sustainable future. Circular School is not just a project, it's a movement that starts now with each one of us. Thank you.
Ooh, not just a project, but a movement. Well done, Ana Carla. Super strong note to end on. Mr. Njai, please give us your final considerations. What is your feedback on this proposal?
Well, wonderful job. And I think you've touched on a very interesting topic. And what I really liked here is the youth reaching out to the younger generation. So you went to schools, and I think if we can change behaviors starting from the school level, I think we can really make a dent on this issue. It is interesting that the big part I see here, 2 of the presentations have already touched on this circular approach, which is very, very interesting, because as I said before, through this, we get benefits not only in that reduction, but far big outcomes like the environmental and the socio-economic aspects. I also liked, you really invoked the connections to the SDGs and the international development agenda, simple solutions, the collection of real-time data, and on that, let's keep on the conversation, because FAO is also working in data collection for food waste using real-time open access data collection. So in terms of recommendations as you move forward, I think maybe the scope could be reduced a little bit, and perhaps the policy environment to support the platforms, for example, needs to be defined a little bit, and that's an area that will need support. But definitely, this needs congratulations, and I want you to extend that to your team. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Congratulations. Congratulations. Oh, of course. Unless you want to stay here with us this week. Thank you so much, Mr. Njai. Now the ball is in your court. Judges, as you're about to deliberate on the winners for each category. All of the proposals have been brilliant, and I have no idea how they're going to pick one winner. So I'll leave it to the professionals.
This is definitely going to be hard work for them. So let's leave it to them. And while they're working on that, I think it's time for that one aspect of the Wolf Forum that gets us all together. I think it's time for culture. Who is ready for some live music? Give me a yes.
Woo!
Yes, I see that we're all excited. So I would like to welcome on stage the incredible herself, Mpiwa.
Mpiwa, come on out. I'm coming down there to dance with you.
It's time for dancing.
So get ready.
You can stand up if you like to.
Why is someone leaving?
The floor is yours.
All right, Mpiwa, over to you.
Thank you.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
How are you doing this morning? Is everyone impressed by the policy proposals? That was incredible. Can you please give them another round of applause? All right, so whilst the judges are deliberating, I'm going to be singing one of the songs that is very dear to my heart. It's called Mamuri. It's called Inu en toi. I sing in 3 languages, English, Shona, and French. And in this song, I sing about appreciating the things that are around me. No matter where I go, I'm always aware and conscious. And I encourage the same for you, especially as you see these youth who are presenting amazing things. So yeah, I hope you enjoy.
I've crossed the ocean, been many miles from home, but never far away from your presence. I've crossed the ocean, been many miles from home, but never far away from your presence.
So much.
Whoa. I can never get enough of him, Piwa. So good. And so beautiful.
I'm never tired of it either. I always actually like to enjoy and dance while she's singing.
Right?
And I think this is the energy that we all have been feeling here.
I was just warming up and she's done it.
I was looking around and they were all dancing in the back.
Can we all give my sis and Piwa another well-deserved round of applause, please? Well done. What's happening now, Joao?
So now we have arrived that moment of this event that we have all been looking forward to. But especially for all of the teams that have been working very hard in the past months, as you could see here, and they showcased it to you. And we would like to announce the winners.
The winners!
And for that, I would like to invite the coordination to bring in the names of the winners.
The results!
The judges have been in the backstage working really hard.
We actually have no idea who's about to win.
Yes.
So.
It's a surprise for us as well.
Anxiety. Who has the results? Do you think Oshin has them?
Probably Oshin has them.
Probably. In the meantime, while we're waiting, I'm going to ask the audience a few things. So, this young person in the amazing suit, you know yourself. What's one thing you learned today? No pressure. Data is key. Fantastic. Data is key. Data generates knowledge, and knowledge is change. Can we give her a round of applause, or them a round of applause, please? Fabulous.
So the judges need 2 more minutes because, as I told
That's
you, they
fine.
are working really hard.
You don't have to ask the audience what they've
learned.
learned today. Who's it gonna be? It's probably gonna be you. What did you learn today?
I learned that it's so important to focus on. Thank you.
Sorry, you should have got a mic.
You can also stand up for the others in the back to see you, as you prefer.
Okay. Hi, everyone. Well, I'm one of the team members from the Policy Deliberation Challenge with Maria, the Healthy and Nutrition Diet. And well, I'm very, very impressed by the proposals of all of the teams. And I just learned that it's so important to focus on your environment, on what the community needs, and just have like a plan. Collect the data, think about the community, and just plan based on that, because every place in the world faces similar challenges, but maybe it's not the same solution because the environment is different and the conditions that you have to address maybe are not the same.
Wow, that was super insightful. Thank you for that. What was your name?
Carlos.
Carlos.
Well done, Carlos.
What
I see
was
we
your
have
name?
some brilliant minds around here today.
Okay, I was trying to get their name. What's your name?
My name is Omobola.
Omobola. So nice to meet you. Ooh, should we do one more?
Let's do one more.
Please.
Let's do one more. I'm excited to hear what you're all thinking.
Someone's trying not to make eye contact with me, which is
Just raise your hand if you feel like you want to jump in.
They're like, no, definitely not me. Go ahead. Hi.
You have somebody in the back.
Thank you. Okay, I'd like to make just a few comments on the presentation that came from Kenya. It was very wonderful. The one about the output, the one who talked about her grandmother.
You sound Kenyan.
No, I'm from Zambia actually.
From Zambia.
But I lived in Kenya, so I know the situation.
Okay.
So actually, I was very impressed. I just have a few concerns for that. Is that President Ruto has welcomed so much the issue of genetically modified food, and is not so much concerned about protecting the local seed. So I think that's an intervening variable that should be considered, because the way she was explaining, it's like during the Kenya of President Moi and so forth, when we had so much natural soil and natural local seed, you know. Now with the local seed not protected, we may not have that that output she talked about of 8 point something tons from 1.6 to 8.6 tons of grain. We may not have it unless we address the lack of protection of the local seed in Kenya, which has been very, very concerning pricing issue. Thank you.
Thank you so much to protect the local seeds. Sawa. All right. It's looking like I could ask one more person. Who am I gonna ask?
Let's pick one more person and then we can kick in with the winners.
I'm very nervous because I'm also part of the team. What I learned, right? One thing that it's not that I learned, but that I felt here, it's about how young are powerful and potential, and not just Brazilian youth, that it's us, but also all around the world. So I'm very excited to be part of these young people that are changing and shaping the future.
Fabulous.
Brilliant.
Young
Thank you
people
so
are
much.
changing the future. You know, one thing that was really impressive to me is that for many of them, English is not their first language.
That is very important to highlight. For
and
many
to
of these people, it's
present-
also their first time stepping on a stage and presenting.
Exactly, especially such technical.
Right, it's definitely and in front of very expert judges. So it's
Really
definitely
amazing.
no easy job.
One more round of applause for the teams. It's the moment you've all been waiting for.
So who is ready for the results?
No one.
I see.
They don't want the results.
They don't want the results.
No,
I think it's just for
they're
us.
good.
We've been
They said it's
thinking too
okay.
much.
We're all winners.
All right.
So.
So let's go to the first category, which is healthy diets for people and planet. Can I have some drum rolls to see who the winner is? And the winner is Team 1, Delfina. Round of applause for Delfina.
Delphina!
Congratulations, Delphina. Congratulations.
Excellent job. Congratulations. Should we take a picture?
Maybe we should take a picture together.
Ooh.
Come.
Your colleague is here. Come on
Just
up,
smile for the
colleague.
picture. Yeah,
Just make sure you
nice.
look cute, okay? Has to be
Give them a very
picture.
big smile.
Fabulous. Congratulations. Woo.
Rachel, what is the next category and who the winner
next
is?
category is Sustainable Water Management for Agri-Food Systems Transformation. The results are coming in live. And the winners are Team Miriam! Oh my God, me? I love it. Congratulations. Oh, a big hug. Congrats. I'm so proud of you. Well done. Ooh, here's your certificate. Official. Let's take a picture. Are your team members here? Oh, okay. Well, we'll look extra.
They're probably very proud of you right now.
They're so proud, I'm sure. Okay. Yay! So proud of you.
Congratulations and congratulations to all of the other participants in the other categories. We know it was definitely not easy. So now, for the last category, I know it's very sad that we are reaching the end of this, but for the category addressing food waste, a win-win opportunity for climate and agri-food systems, I would like to invite on stage the participants so we can announce the winners.
Whew.
Guys, a drum roll, please.
Wait, I like the hand holding, you know, like in pageants where it's like one is gonna win, but we don't know who. Oh, it's fine. She's like, no.
I'm sure this was very difficult. Personally, I would struggle if I was a judge.
Me too.
But the winner is Team A, Chanel.
Woo!
Oh yes,
Chanel,
team
I
members,
love
come
this
up.
picture of
Yay,
you.
Nice.
Oh, this is sad.
This is good. I'm
Not
getting
me
emotional
getting
now.
emotional. I'm gonna go.
They didn't tell us we would cry here on stage. It's not, that's not fair.
Congratulations. Let's do the
Congratulations.
pictures with them. Wow. Excellent job.
All right, and congratulations to all of the other participants. You can go in the backstage and celebrate all of you together.
Absolutely.
That's definitely what I would do. And wait, don't forget your certificate. That is very important to have in hands.
Congratulations to all the winning teams and to every single, yes, we can give them one more round of applause. Congrats also to all of the teams back there and in the audience who worked so hard on these proposals and these pitches. You made it so far on this journey, and we're really looking forward to seeing you putting policy into action and actually implementing these impactful concepts that you've come up with. Thank you so much once again to our judges for your insight and your expertise today. Joao, we have one more important part, right?
We do, we cannot forget that. So I would like to invite Mr. Nejai to come up on stage for his closing remarks.
Whew.
Thank you so much for all of the support and all of the very valuable feedback that you have been providing us here today. The floor is yours.
Thank you so much.
Let's just
Let
move
me
these
help
things
you.
around. Great.
There you go. And your mic.
I deliberately did not print out the speech to be sustainable.
A round of applause to them.
Okay, so distinguished friends and participants, let me start by congratulating everyone and the 9 teams that were here. I think from the perspective of the judges, everybody that participated was a winner. And we had the very, very challenging job of selecting just one out of each of the 3. So, and those pitches that we saw were incredible and exceptional. And I am sure they have inspired many people today, from those that are present here, as well as those that are connected virtually. I really want to congratulate again all teams that participated, and in particular the winning teams, Team 1 for the healthy diets for people and planet, Team 5 for sustainable water management, and Team 8 for addressing food waste, for all the work that they did. Like I said, it was a tough decision, and Team 1 got the edge in the healthy diet aspect because the nutrition dimension came out very strongly. Team 5 from the water group stood out because it tackled the water scarcity challenge supported by data and science. So it was evidence-based. And then Team 8 on food loss and waste, the edge was because of the policy connection. Remember, the session here was driving at the policies that we need. If you do not have the policies, nothing really changes at country level. So it is very, very important to make that connection. Having said that, I want to thank you for the World Food Forum education team for making this initiative possible and for supporting our young leaders with capacity building and tools to develop innovative policy proposals. By creating these programs, we can meaningfully empower youth to work, innovate, and inspire others around the globe with sustainable policy proposals for the transformation of our agricultural systems. Youth have a key role to play when we are talking about innovation. Innovation, innovation, innovation. There is a very, very strong connection. So I look forward to seeing what these teams and individuals will accomplish next. We provided some comments here, but definitely please reach out to the technical experts of FAO and we can help you nurture the proposals even further. So this policy and deliberation challenge is just the beginning of so much great work to come. The World Food Forum team will now endeavor to connect these proposals to interested stakeholders working to bring about concrete and positive change to our agri-food systems around the world. I believe I speak for everyone here when I say that you have us all with your passion and your creative ideas, and I wish you the best for these young professionals. Thank you very much and all the best.
Thank you so much for your kind words, Mr. Njai. We appreciate you so much, and we appreciate all the judges, Mr. Li Feng Li and Ms. Neufeld as well. Thank you also to our audience, to the education team, Hussein, Wasin, and Leticia for their hard work on this production, as well as everyone at WFF. Shout out also, right? Applause for the education team. I also want to shout out the production team because they were great today and there was a lot of technical things and everything went seamlessly. Shout out to you, our audience, for coming today and for being on. She's like, let me clap for myself. Well done, everyone. Yes, you deserve it. To all the teams, we are excited to see what you will accomplish next. I, for one, am sure that whatever it is, it will be impactful. So congratulations to you backstage, to you here. Well done.
And this is just the beginning of all of your journeys. So for those that didn't make it, don't worry, there will be many other opportunities coming next. So the finals of the Policy and Deliberation Challenge have come to an end, but the World Food Forum flagship event is just starting, as you all can see. So stay with us during this week for more events showcasing the power of youth for the transformation of our agri-food systems.
And remember that the next main stage session we have here is the finals of the Transformative Research Challenge, and it's going to be at 2 p.m. Rome time. We'll see you around. Thanks for coming.
Thank you so much, everyone.
Ciao.
Recording stopped.